Good afternoon. Welcome to the University of Texas School of Law 2019 Sunflower Ceremony. Please rise to welcome the Texas Law Class of 2019. Please welcome the faculty of the University of Texas School of Law. It is our pleasure to introduce the Dean of the School of Law, Ward Farnsworth.
Distinguished guests, faculty and staff, family and friends, and Longhorn lawyers of the class of 2019. What a great day this is. And what an extraordinary moment to be graduating from law school. This is a time when nobody is indifferent to our public life, to our political life, or to our legal life. It sometimes seems that nobody agrees, but everybody cares, everybody has opinions, everybody appreciates the significance of our times. And here's something else to remember. Most of those who care are on the outside of the legal system, looking in. The greatest dramas of our times right now are matters of law, of what law means, of what it should be, of who is subject to what aspects of it. That is the arena where the action is. Most of those who care what happens in that arena are in the stands. They're watching intently, they're shouting, they're cringing, they're hoping. Some are cheering, some are jeering. They all care deeply about law, but for them it is largely a spectator's sport. That's not the way they want it, but that's the way it is, because entry into the arena is conditioned on a particular kind of education and certain credentials and certain skills. You now have the privilege of a different position. You've gained the ability to enter the arena. You'll be walking out of here with an outstanding education and an outstanding credential, a diploma from one of the greatest law schools in all the land. Indeed, you are in a position not just to be subject to legal machinery, but to operate it. This is the privilege of very few and the responsibility of very few, and now you are among the few. So when we face problems, threats of injustice, large or small, assaults on our liberties, large and small, You will be our first responders, if any first responders there be. You are empowered and equipped to defend the rule of law against its enemies, to right wrongs, and to make peace. You have that power. And that means you can no longer be among those who are waiting for the cavalry. You are the cavalry. On behalf of the faculty, I say that is our hope, that you will throw yourselves into the lives of your profession, your communities, and your world. Show what you can do. Rise to the occasion. Be a leader. Take a chance. Win a fight. Make a difference. That's our charge to you. Every one of you has earned the ability to carry it out. And for this, all of us congratulate you, we proudly salute you, and we urge you on. Now, another thing. With law school safely behind you, all of you will recall, I'm sure, that it was hard. Graduating from law school is a great thing and also a difficult thing. Great and difficult things are never accomplished alone. And here in the audience, we have many mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, and other friends and relatives of all of you. Let me invite you to turn to them now and to thank them for the love, encouragement, patience, and moral and material support they have provided to help make this day possible. With those words of welcome and congratulations said, I now have the pleasure of introducing our student speaker, your permanent class president, Ms. Gabriella Oxford. Ms. Oxford hails from Beaumont, Texas. Today, she will join the ranks of those we like to call double Longhorns, having received her undergraduate degree from the Radio, Television, and Film program at the Moody School of Communications here at the University of Texas at Austin. Here at the law school, she's been a coordinator of the Sutton Society for 2 years, a board member of the Women's Law Caucus, and a board member of the Texas Journal of Oil, Gas, and Energy Law. After graduation, she will begin the practice of law in Houston. Texas law, as all of you know, is a place of many great traditions. Ms. Oxford herself is now the keeper of great tradition, because her father, Hubert Oxford III, who I'm very happy to say is here with us today, was class president of the Texas law class of 1963. Please join me in welcoming the permanent class president of the Texas law class of 2019, Gabe Oxford.
Hi. Thank you, Dean Farnsworth. Family, friends, faculty, and every fabulous member of the class of 2019, good afternoon, and thank you for letting me say a few words. I didn't tell most of my family that I was speaking today, so surprise, Mom and Dad. It is an honor to stand before you and to serve as your permanent class president. I am so humbled, and I want to genuinely thank you all for everything that you have given me over the past 3 years. While I convinced most of you to vote for me with promises of margarita machine-filled reunions, I ran for this position so that I can give back to all of you, the UT Law class of 2019. I have been dreaming of this moment since my very first day of law school, specifically civil procedure. On that very first day of class, our professor chose 2 lucky volunteers, Kelly Smith and Mark Broom, as our class guinea pigs. The 2 of them stood in front of the class and were peppered with questions, none of which they could have known the answers to for the entire class period. This torture lasted exactly 1 hour and 7 minutes. But Kelly and Mark survived. In fact, they did more than survive. They were brave, they took risks, and in those 67 minutes, they started to become lawyers. The rest of us weren't just glad it wasn't us, though we were very relieved, but we were laughing with them and cheering them on. Those first 67 minutes of law school set the tone for the next 3 years. We started out knowing nothing, scared, overwhelmed, and more than a little lost. But we have been brave. We've taken risks, we've learned together, we've failed together, and cheered each other on. And today, we are lawyers. Most of you know that law school has not been the easiest for me. A radio, television, and film degree was probably not as helpful as an English, pre-law, history, or literally any other. When I first came to UT, I was admitted as a part of the rowing team. Just kidding. But in all honesty, I did have imposter syndrome. And how could I not? You are a group of extreme overachievers and hard workers. I know this because no matter how hard I worked, many of you worked longer or harder or smarter and came out on the right side of the curve. You're welcome. But no matter how we got here, we have become lawyers in the best place in the world to be a law student. We hear that a lot, and it's true. And it's because of the people sitting next to you. We are all so much more than law students. We have grown up together over the past 3 years. We've seen section mates fall in love and get married, been there for the births of new babies and deaths of loved ones. And we have seen each other through the inevitable final times meltdowns. Law school is competitive in nature. We compete for the same jobs, the same organizational positions, and some of you even competed for the highest grades in our class. However, it has been our unwavering support and dedication to one another that makes our class stand out. To our parents, families, and friends, I want to thank you for listening to us complain, being there when we needed things to be put into perspective, and for keeping us sane. This degree belongs to you as well. We would not have made it to this day without your encouragement, your love, and your support. Administration and faculty, thank you for creating a space for us to learn, to question, and to grow as professionals and as people. Those 67 minutes on call weren't just torture. You have encouraged us to think critically, to take risks, and to pursue our passions, whether that be a classical music concert in the Edelman courtroom, or founding UT's premier wine club, the Supreme Court. And while today is a momentous day for everyone in this room, today is also the first day of the rest of our lives. We have just now scratched the surface of what we can do with this degree and who we are. My challenge to you is to not let this be the greatest thing that you ever do. This degree is proof that you are not only extremely intelligent, but also bold and capable. With our incredibly diverse class and a degree from one of the best law schools in the nation, what starts here will change the world. Regardless of how you entered this beautiful gymnasium today, as a TLFer, a gunner, a bar reviewer, a legal eagle, when you leave, you are not only leaving as a UT Law graduate, but with 326 colleagues and friends. The people sitting next to you have been there for you these past 3 years. If you let them, they will continue to support you for the rest of your legal careers and your lives. As your permanent class president, I have the privilege of staying in touch with all of you following graduation. Most of you know firsthand that I will not be shy in reaching out. But I urge you also to stay in contact with one another. These people know you, they know your hearts, and they've seen you grow. Your classmates can keep you grounded and continue to challenge you to be better, to learn more, and to dream bigger, just as they have throughout our time at UT Law. While this class is setting off to all different parts of the country and the world, when times get tough, think back to that first day of civil procedure and remember that we are all still here cheering you on. I will end with the words of one of the greatest legal minds of our generation, Elle Woods. 15 years ago, she spoke these words at her graduation from Harvard Law. This was depicted in the documentary about her life, Legally Blonde. In my 3 years of law school, I have come to find that passion is a key ingredient to the study and the practice of law and of life. It is with passion, courage of conviction, and strong sense of self that we take our next steps into the world, remembering that you must always have faith in people, but most importantly, you must always have faith in yourself. Congratulations, class of 2019. We did it!
Thank you very much, Gabe. Our convocation speaker today is Neal Manne. Neal received his BA with highest honors from the University of Texas at Austin in 1976 and his JD with high honors from this law school in 1980. He was a friar, he was vice chancellor, and he was an associate editor of the Texas Law Review. Neal is now the managing partner of Sussman Godfrey, which is one of the finest law firms in the land. It's a firm that was, I should add, founded by two more of our most accomplished graduates, Steve Sussman and Lee Godfrey. I'm excited for you to hear from Neal for a very particular reason. You all came to law school with dreams of doing great things afterwards. I've had the pleasure over the years of talking to many of you about those dreams. And since then, many of you have felt the tension between seeking success and security in the private practice of the law on the one hand and serving the public interest on the other. But Neal Manne has shown, as much as any lawyer I've ever known, that you don't have to choose one at the expense of the other. Neal has attained success at the highest level of the law firm world, but he's also given a great share of his life to pro bono work. Indeed, I know of no lawyer who's done more. Some of that work is outlined in Neal's bio, which you can find in your program. For me to enumerate all of it would consume a whole afternoon. All of it is remarkable. In effect, Neal's had two careers side by side, one in private practice and another as a volunteer of his time and his formidable talents. His example shows that with enough commitment, it's possible to do immense good as a lawyer while also doing well. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you one of the most illustrious members of our extended law school family, my good friend, Neal Manne.
It had been hot and muggy all week, even for Austin. And of all the weird places to hold a law school graduation, mine was going to be in the Texas Swimming Center. Now, I don't claim that my idea was necessarily original. Rather than walk around the pool as instructed, to receive my diploma and handshake when my name was called, I planned to dive into the pool and swim across. As I ended my 7 years at UT, I would literally make a splash. But then my parents decided to show up for the sunflower ceremony after all. And I'll admit it, I lost my nerve. There's a moral to the story, and it's this. Family members play a valuable role at these ceremonies. If some of your family members are here today, thank them. As Dean Farnsworth said, thank them for all their encouragement in helping you get to this important moment in your life. But also thank them for all the times that their mere presence has discouraged you from doing something really stupid. Now, let me make another admission. I have absolutely no idea who my commencement speaker was on that hot day in 1980, and I do not remember a single thing they said. I have no illusions that your experience will be any different. This, of course, is quite liberating for me as speaker. So thank you, Dean Farnsworth, for that very generous introduction of this speaker whom no one will remember. A law degree is a very powerful tool. You're being issued that tool today. What you do with it is up to you. Like a hammer, which can be used to build a house, but also to tear one down, a law degree can be used for the most noble of purposes or the most destructive. Let me tell you briefly about two of my clients who were locked up on Texas's death row for a very long time, waiting for the state to kill them. One of them, Anthony Graves, was on death row because a district attorney concealed evidence of his innocence, threatened one witness, and elicited testimony at trial from another witness that the witness had told the DA was false. Mr. Graves had absolutely no involvement in the crime. He spent 18 years in prison before he was declared innocent and completely exonerated. Think of all you hope to do in the next 18 years, professionally and personally, with your family and your friends. All the fun you hope to have, the dreams you will pursue, the love you hope to share with someone, the rich and rewarding life that you will build. Now imagine spending those same 18 years locked in solitary confinement instead, in a 6x10 cell, awaiting execution because someone with the same tool you're receiving today, a law degree, used it badly, corruptly, and dangerously. The district attorney who prosecuted Anthony Graves was disbarred for life for his misconduct. I'm delighted to say, by the way, that his law degree was not earned here at the 40 acres. But here's the thing. When that guy was sitting at his own law school commencement, he did not think to himself, someday I will misuse my legal skills so profoundly that I will be disbarred for life. And even when he was elected district attorney many years later, his goal was not to perpetrate gross miscarriages of justice. A law degree is a powerful tool, but it's an easy tool to misuse. It's easy to tell yourself that winning is more important than following the rules. It's easy to cut corners. It's easy to demonize your opponent or the opposing lawyer. It's easy to be so certain that you were right that the end seems to justify the means. The risk of doing something improper, even a single time, because it seems so justified, is that it becomes easier to do that again the next time. And then an exception turns into a habit, which becomes a pattern, and down the spiral you go. Another client of mine, Dwayne Brown, spent more than 9 years on Texas's death row awaiting execution. Dwayne, too, was completely innocent. When an alibi witness, in her testimony to the grand jury, placed Mr. Brown far from the crime scene, the prosecutor charged her with perjury and had her jailed. Child Protective Services took away her 3 children, ages 11, 8, and 6. The prosecutor told her that she could get out of jail and get her children back anytime she wanted. All she had to do was agree to cooperate with him by abandoning her alibi testimony and agreeing to testify against Mr. Brown. And finally, after languishing in the Harris County Jail for 120 days, she agreed to the prosecutor's outrageous demand. The prosecutor even had telephone records that confirmed her original alibi testimony and exculpated Mr. Brown by confirming that he was nowhere near the crime scene. But the prosecutor never turned those telephone records over to Mr. Brown's lawyers, and they mysteriously disappeared from the files. It took more than 12 years for Alfred Brown to be released from prison. And just 3 weeks ago, a court in Houston finally declared him to be actually innocent. Because of that, he's now eligible for financial compensation from the state. But he can never get back those 12 years of his life. Both Mr. Graves and Mr. Brown were young, poor, and African American. And though I'm confident that racism played a large role in both cases, their prosecutors seemed to genuinely believe that these men were guilty when the prosecutors corrupted the system and sent innocent men off to die by lethal injection. How does that happen? And is there a lesson there for us as lawyers? Confirmation bias is the tendency of people to search for and interpret information in ways that confirm their own pre-existing beliefs. You can get an excellent illustration of confirmation bias any night of the week just by switching channels between Fox News and MSNBC. Confirmation bias is an error of inductive reasoning, and you'll encounter it often in your practice of law. Because of confirmation bias, people are especially likely to interpret ambiguous evidence as supporting their own existing position. And in the practice of law, almost everything is ambiguous. So how does one guard against the effects of confirmation bias in practicing law? I try several things. First, I try to avoid creating an echo chamber by making clear to everyone on my team that I want them to think independently and critically about every assumption. I encourage people to play devil's advocate. Most big cases are mock tried before there's a real trial. And when a case of mine is mock tried, I play the opposing side, not my own. To prepare to argue the other side's case as persuasively as possible, I have to look for every flaw and weakness in my own client's position. And before any client or key witness is deposed or testifies at trial, my team and I prepare what we call the 10 hardest questions. It's a list of the very strongest attacks on our own witness's story. Each of these techniques is designed to challenge our own assumptions and test whether the story that we want to be true really is true. So, when I listened to those two prosecutors insist that they had done nothing wrong, even after Anthony Graves and Dwayne Brown were proven to be innocent, I was struck by how sad it was, even for the prosecutors. How sad that they had been so intellectually lazy, that they had cut so many constitutional corners, that their misplaced confidence in their own ability to discern the truth had led them to break ethical rules and ruin lives, including their own lives. Your decisions as a lawyer can have dramatic impact, not just on the lives of your clients and adversaries, but on your own life too. Okay, now, before you decide to forget this law stuff and go get an MBA, let me give you some great news. Practicing law is a blast. You will have so many different opportunities to help people, no matter what kind of practice you choose. Sometimes you'll get to profoundly change people's lives. If law has become the secular religion of modern American society, then you are now among its high priests. There's an enormous variety of types of law practice, but they all really have one thing in common: helping people who need your help and want your help as they confront a problem that they are not equipped to handle, but you now are. Yes, some lawyers badly failed Anthony Graves and Dwayne Brown, but they're alive and free today because of the extraordinary good that other lawyers did. They were freed from death row through the combined efforts of lawyers working for not-for-profit legal service organizations, criminal defense lawyers in private practice, civil litigators working pro bono, and in both cases, new prosecutors who were committed to justice rather than winning at all costs. One graduate of this law school who helped free Mr. Graves was not even practicing law anymore. She was teaching investigative journalism to college students when she became interested in his case. When Mr. Graves received compensation from the state of Texas for his wrongful imprisonment, he donated part of it to UT Law School to establish an endowed scholarship in her honor. It's enormously satisfying to help someone get justice or simply a fair resolution of a legal problem. I happily admit it, whether it's for a paying client or a pro bono one. I have fun in my law practice every single day, and I hope you will too. Now, a short history lesson. When I described my graduation ceremony at the Texas Swimming Center, some of you probably thought to yourself, well, isn't it just as weird that ours is being held in an old gymnasium? And the answer is no. Gregory Gym actually is a very fitting place for this sunflower ceremony. Thomas Watt Gregory, for whom it is named, was one of the original law graduates of UT in 1885. He practiced law in Austin. He became the first UT graduate to serve on the Board of Regents. He was a progressive in some respects. He championed the early antitrust laws, railing against what he called plutocratic power and predatory wealth. All of that impressed President Woodrow Wilson, who appointed Gregory to be Attorney General of the United States in 1914. But then, as now, a law degree is a tool that can do as much damage as it does good. As Attorney General, Gregory crafted and lobbied for passage of the now infamous Sedition Act of 1918, which made it a crime to use disloyal or abusive language when merely speaking about the American government, the flag, or the military. Gregory used the Sedition Act to suppress dissent and stifle free speech through thousands of misguided criminal prosecutions. After he resigned under fire in 1919, Gregory's next move seems sort of obvious in retrospect. He returned to Austin, he became the head of the UT Ex-Students Association, and he embarked on raising money to build a new gymnasium. 100 years later, here we are. So 39 years after I didn't jump into the pool, let me offer a few final thoughts about what lies ahead. You probably don't know right now how you'll actually spend most of your legal career. I had 6 different jobs in the first 8 years after law school. Don't worry about finding the perfect job right now, because it won't be perfect. Learn as much as you can from your first job, then find another not perfect job and learn some more. And don't be afraid to fail. Failing is valuable. I think that fear of failure is the principal reason why some lawyers do not achieve excellence and are dissatisfied with their jobs. If you are paralyzed by the fear of failing at something, you will avoid even trying it. And that means you will avoid ever learning how to master it. I'm a trial lawyer, and the cliche is true. If a lawyer claims she has never lost a trial, either she's lying or she doesn't really try cases. You bet I've lost trials, spectacularly and publicly. And I never learned more than the times when I lose. Not just about how to improve as a trial lawyer, but about myself, how to be resilient and get up off the mat, how to laugh in the face of failure, how to turn the page and move on to the next thing. So don't be afraid to do things that you aren't yet good at. It's the only way to learn. As a young lawyer, of course, I loved the thrill of victory, and I was devastated by the agony of defeat. Over time, victory in the courtroom has come to feel merely satisfying rather than truly thrilling. And often it's suffused with a keen empathy for the opposing lawyer and party who have just lost. Rather than agony, defeat has come to feel like an unwanted but natural part of the process of being a trial lawyer and a natural part of life. In the days leading to my law school graduation and my departure from Austin, I was filled with a very different emotion, an almost overwhelming sense of nostalgia. Nostalgia is powerful and bittersweet. Surely many of you have been experiencing intense nostalgia this week as you contemplate the end of your time as students and your imminent separation from very dear friends and meaningful places. Nostalgia is about looking backward poignantly. But graduation is ultimately a time for looking forward. And though I do not remember who spoke at my sunflower ceremony or a single thing they said, I do remember the incredible excitement I felt as I closed a long chapter in my life and prepared to embark on the next one. As I drove out of Austin, headed to California with everything I own crammed in my 1969 Buick LeSabre, windows rolled down, radio blaring, the Capitol Dome and the UT Tower receded in my rearview mirror. But life, in all its mystery, seemed to unfold on the road ahead. I hope you feel that same sense of excitement today about your own limitless futures. So Dean Farnsworth, distinguished faculty and guests, and especially the class of 2019, sharing this occasion with you today has been one of the honors and thrills of my lifetime. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Neal Manne, for those outstanding and very instructive remarks. And so, graduates, we now arrive at the conferral of degrees and of sunflowers. I'd like to first offer you a word of explanation about our ceremony. As you've no doubt observed, graduates of the University of Texas School of Law do not wear traditional regalia. For 15 or 20 years, after this university was established in 1883, no graduate of any of the university's schools wore the cap and gown to their graduation ceremonies. A committee of undergraduates then decided, however, that the cap and gown ought to be worn after all, and they informed the law school of their conclusion. The law students met They decided that since they had not been consulted on the new mandate, they were not inclined to comply with it. Some say this decision was an early instance of the principled pugnacity that would become one of the hallmarks of our graduates. Others have suggested that a desire to be free from heavy regalia at this time of year in Texas may have also played some part in their decision. In any event, the president and the faculty conferred, and they decreed that the law students must either conform to the wishes of the senior class or else wear a significant insignia at the graduation exercises. The law students opted for the insignia. They chose for the purpose the sunflower. It seemed a fitting choice for our graduates because it is native to North America, but flourishes all over the world. It has also been observed that the sunflower has the remarkable property of always turning its face to the sun, even as the good lawyer, as Mr. Manne said, has an insistent natural commitment to the light of truth and of justice. We are now pleased to continue this tradition with the class of 2019. Each graduate will proceed to the stage and will be pinned with a sunflower. The pinning will be performed by 4 of our associate and assistant deans, Professor Barbara Bentliff, Associate Dean Eden Harrington, Assistant Dean Lauren Fielder, and Assistant Dean Elizabeth Bangs. The names of our LLM graduates will be announced by Professor David Sokolow. The names of our JD graduates will be announced by Associate Dean Bobby Chesney. Professor Sokolow, would you please begin by presenting our LLM class of 2019?
Jiswan Tsai. Ivan Castañeda Mora. Cristina Garcia Chapel. What? Anchi? It's not here. Anchi Wang. Anchi Wang. Leandro Duarte Alves. Tabea Duschel. Kim Dusseldorp. Shinran He. Mugiz Jamal Chun. Takaki Kanayama. Cheswan Lee. Zusun Lee. Matthias Lutcher. Stoyan Madin. Ana Katarina Moro. Richard Patrick McNulty. Daniela Mendez Romero. Moses Obenor. Eniola Opashino. Maria Jose Ortiz Arro y Nazar. Evert Sanchez Alonso. Roman Alexander Schmid. Anuba Seth. Zhao Shun. Danny Shebachlo. Lida Shun. Natalie Mona Shields. Vanessa Simone. Bai Hui Tang. Ratu Filemona Tueva Nuvalevu. Osayuki Michael Uwigbe. Alfonso Vargas Mayoral. Alberto Ramon Villanueva. What? Ansia Huang. Jia Shu. Butianring Zhang.
Please join me in congratulating the LLM class of 2019. And now I ask Associate Dean Bobby Chesney to please introduce the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor.
Patrick, Michael, Anna. Oluwafemi, Emmanuel Aborishade. Connor Berwin Adams. Stephanie Agu. Sarah B. Alfada. Tyler Edward Ames. Robert Price Anderson. Catherine Cheryl Arnold. Zachary Allen Ashford. Larston Bruce Baldry. Marissa Balanon Rosen. Jacob Charles Beach. Jeffrey Beeson. John Peter Bedecaray. Austin Humphreys Benish. Avery D. Benitez. Sandra Mary Benjamin. Ashley Elizabeth Bergfield. Frank A. Berman. Nina Ann Batia. David Austin Black. Kara Elise Bloomquist. Brett David Bozes. Matus Bato. Gregory James Boyle. Brittany Bratcher. Joshua Brody. Mark Andrew Broom. Madeline Margaret Brown. Elizabeth Catherine Butler. Christopher Allen Buxton. Sarah Ashley Bird. Cara Campos. Matthew Barden Caponi. Timothy Patterson Carney. Chelsea Bo Chan. Ben W. Chang. Philip Kirchin Chang. Victoria Lu Yi Chang. Paige Lauren Chung. Xander Chonka. Justin J. Chung. Alexander Matthew Clark. Davis Clark. Michael Patrick Clendenin. Amanda Laura Collins. Haley Ann Cook. John Daniel Coolidge. Danielle Cooper. Mitchell Cooper. Michael Codden. Ashley Diana Craythorne. Andrea Nicole Crespo. Gabriel Scott Culver. Morgan Leon Carell. Colin Toohey Currens Sheehan. Michael John Dawes. Delana C. Davis. Louisa Genevieve Davis. Tom De La Torre. Kia Nicole Brooks Diebolt. Nathan Paul Dainert. Taylor Nicole Denton. Anne Elizabeth Derrig. Claire Elise Dial. Devin A. Diggs. Laura Catherine Diller. Lauren Diddy. David K. Dodd. Stephanie Laura Dodge. Bryce Dodson. Brian Luscombe Downs. Christopher Patrick Doyle. Neha Dubé. Monica Anna Jimianchuk. David Mitchell Eads. Erin Elizabeth Eberly. Preston Taylor Edmondson. Brooke Alexis Elberger. Caroline Walker Ellis. Rachel Adi Inav. David Richard Engelman. Zemay Fan. Haley Elizabeth Farrell. Camille Boyd Fenton. Michael B. Ferguson. Jose Antonio Flor. Jose is also receiving an MBA from the Macomb School of Business today. Gregorio Aiden Flores. Christopher Graydon Forrester. Margaret Allison Fox. Maggie is also receiving a Master's in Global Policy Studies from the LBJ School today. Ryan Jonathan Frankel. Dominic Carlo Frappoli. Dylan James French. Michael Damian French. William Charles Fullenwider. Alan Keith Gaines. Richard Grant Gannon. Jordan Lynn Gans. Thomas Brian Garber. Ari Gardner. Kirby Collier Gilbert. Ashton Jordan Gilly. Jordan Page Gleason. Sarah Catherine Gohari. Adam Scott Goin. Alexandria Nicole Gonzalez. Cassandra Gonzalez. Bo Alexander Gould. Robert Groton. Andrew Nicholas Gregg. Greer A. Gregory. Marcus Devin Griffey. Eric L. Grogan. Evan Pierce Hall. Eric Lewis Halpern. Caitlin Hammis. Laura L. Harper. Benjamin Jerome Hartman. Vincent Reed Hash. Girija Hathaway. Diamond Elise Hayes. Alexandra Sloan Hecht. Brianna Mary Herman. Samuel Ryan Higginbotham. Haley Morgan High. Luis Alejandro Hille. William Walker Hobby. Charles William Hoff in absentia. Joseph W. Hoggett. Michael Lambie Hoover. Noah Maury Horowitz. Matthew Megan Humble. Alexander R. Hunn. Morgan Taylor Hunt. Brittany Chineye Ifejika. Laurie Elizabeth Jackson. Rosie Elizabeth Jamail. Sojung Bridget Jung. Gabriel Zion Jerome. Whitley Johnson. Alexandra Morgan Jones Lafont. Emily Alice Jorgens. Brittany Elizabeth Justice. Dakota Paul Kanetsky. Kara Leanne Karcher. Payne Campbell Kynarth. Joshua Kelly. Ethan David Kirstein. Omar Nasim Kawaja. Lindsay Rachel Kylene. Jae-Won Kim. Tony Kim. Christopher James Kirby. Alexandra Jade Karinsik. Sophie Ann Kivett. Henry William Knight. Anna Caroline Kashut. Vinay Nathan Krishnan. Grace Michelle Lager. Brady Russell Lambeth. Matthew John Lambros. Nikolai Aston Lane. Alexa R. Lang. Stephanie P. Lascano. Nathaniel I. Legum. Ilana Leuchtag. Allison Elaine Levon. Anne Marie Lindsley. Rebecca Andrea Lopez. Taylor Honeycutt Loind. Laura Elizabeth Mailer. Colleen Tennant Maldonado. Travis Austin Maples. Daniel Stephen Martins. Marcus Martinez. Elizabeth Grace McDonough. Chloe McGrath Wright. William Garrett McMillan. Mark McMonigal. Philip Henry Melton. Stephanie Alicia Michael. Nicholas Reed Miller. Joe Minton. Ralph Michael Molina. Alex Francis Musari Parumble. Harrison Alexander Morris. Sarah Elizabeth Mosley. Priscilla Mosqueda. Ruth Mulvihill. Benjamin Lee Neighbors. Victoria Louise Newton. John R. Nolan. Caitlin Norris. Karina Isel Ochoa. Ikana Stanley Okoro. Miguel A. Ortiz. Haley Michelle Ostrin. Jeffrey Lucas Ott. Gabriella Elizabeth Oxford. Diego Alberto Pacheco. Mason Gabriel Von Pastrana. Garrett Peary. Christopher Scott Perkins. Jonathan Douglas Peavy. Christopher G. Ferris. John Charles Phelan. Elizabeth Renee Pospisil. Reed Andrew Powers. Alec R. Puente. Alec is also receiving a Master's of Public Affairs from the LBJ School today. Priya Sahaya Raj. Daniel Boyd Rankin. Basma Raza. Clark Christopher Reeder. Rogelio Reyes. Matthew Richardson. Lauren Richter. Cameron Kyle Rivers. William Robinson III. Elijah Roden. Leah Rebecca Rodriguez. Jack F. Rogers. Christian E. Reiholt. Kimberly Nicole Saindun. Daniela Salazar. Laura Lisa Salinas. Amanda Lee Salt. Samantha Rose Sandfort. Iyad Hatim Sakar. Ishmael M. Sarmiento. Michael Paul Shattle. Joshua Michael Scheifler. Andrew Michael Schick. Taylor Austin Schmidt. Dylan Noel Sebasco. Patrick Sellers. Savannah May Schaffer. Casey Lipscomb Shaw. Jordan Fielding Seidel. Giselle Celerio. Uddy Circus. Jonathan Slack. Madeline Joy Smart. Kelly Ann Smith. Ashley Elizabeth Smith. Cody Ryan Smith. Jacob Edward Smith. Thalis Michael Smith. Nicholas C. St. Laurent. Zachary Brian Stone. Susan Kendall Stradley. Luke Powers Struther. Vanessa Alejandra Suarez. John Ross Sutherland. Katie Rose Talley. Claire Joelle Tapscott. Cassidy Nicole Tennyson. Seti Tessife. Danielle Patrice Tholin. Isabella Beatrice Thornton Clark. Connor Bree Chakota. Jacqueline Lee Titus. Syra Ukani. Andrew Ross Vandekop. Marco Antonio Vasquez. Trevor Lee Vega. Sydney Paige Werner. Patrick Allen Vickery. Ario Danilo Vignali. Mariana Vila. Tucker James Villarreal. Sabina Catlin Wall. Rebecca Walker. Brendan Liam Walsh. Claire Elise Wenholtz. Logan Maxwell Wexler. Matthew Jerome Whalen. Ryan Wham. Alan Williams. John Conrad Williams. Lee Corey Williams. Julie Ann Wilson. Leslie Ann Wise. Helen Guyi Xiong. Siyuan Franklin Ye. Jenna Brianne Yoder. Rebecca Young. Catherine Zachary. And Sarah Chu Zhao.
Congratulations, graduates. So ends the first part of your relationship with this law school, and so begins another as alumni. We look forward to watching every one of you find success at some future reunion. We all will marvel at your contributions to the world and to the lives of others. But there's no need to wait until then to marvel. We're all proud of your success already. On behalf of the faculty, I offer you our admiration, our affection, and most of all, our warmest congratulations. Way to go, class of 2019. Upon adjournment, we ask that our guests remain seated while the stage party departs, followed one row at a time by the graduates. And then we invite all of you to join us for a reception, which is going to be held in a really great place at the Touchdown Club located in the UT football stadium. It's a chance that we on the faculty all value highly to congratulate the graduates personally and to meet your families. You can enter the stadium at gates 14 and 16. These are the doors on the north end of the stadium, the doors closest to the law school. Then take the elevators to the 8th floor, and we'll see you there. And now to conclude these proceedings, please join me in saluting our graduates in the traditional fashion of this university by singing our alma mater, The Eyes of Texas.